Have you ever had this moment where something quite small happens and suddenly it all starts feeling too much? And even as it is happening, there's a part of you thinking, why am I reacting this way? So, welcome to The Thoughtful Doctor, where medicine meets humanity. Now, I see this in clinic as well, quite a lot. People don't usually come in and say to me, Doctor, I'm feeling overwhelmed, but they say things like, there's just a lot on my plate. Or they'll say, I'm managing, but I think it's a bit too much. Or I don't know why I'm feeling this way. Now, when you sit with it for a moment, there's usually a lot they are carrying. Maybe it's just the health concerns, or maybe looking after children, thinking about aging parents, could be work, could be finances. And then there's everything else happening in the world around us. And if you think about it, none of it on its own feels like too much. But together, it all adds up. And sometimes it shows up as this quiet feeling of overwhelm. Now, I myself had one of those moments recently. I had planned a trip with friends, something that was meant to be a break party. And on the surface, it was. But towards the end of it, I remember sitting with a friend, trying to keep it all together, and then next moment, crying. And I said, I feel overwhelmed. It's a bit too much. And even as I said it, there was a part of me thinking, why does this feel so hard? Because nothing had gone wrong really. But when I thought about it afterwards, it started to make more sense. I'd been working before the trip, thinking about work after the trip. I was looking after my boys, keeping track of their routines, food, sleep, and then all the little things we don't usually notice, the planning, the adjusting, the holding everything together. And when I layer in how my brain works, how it processes, it wasn't surprising. It was just a lot. I think that's what overwhelm often is. Not one big dramatic moment, but everything that hasn't had space to settle. We often talk about something called as cognitive load, and sometimes it could be overload as well, which is really just how much our mind is holding at one single point. And when that builds up, things don't feel clear anymore. Even simple things feel heavier. And there's also something happening in the brain. When things feel like too much, a part of our brain called the amygdala, which is our internal alarm system, that becomes more active. It starts scanning for pressure, for problems, for too much. And at the same time, the part of our brain that helps us think clearly, plan, and stay patient, that goes a bit quieter. So it's not that we have suddenly become less capable. It's that our brain has shifted into protection mode now. And that's why we feel different in those moments. We feel more reactive, less clear, more foggy, more easily overwhelmed by things that wouldn't usually feel like this. And then quite clearly, we turn on ourselves. I should be coping better. This isn't even that much, or something even harsher. Now, that's where it becomes even heavier, because now it's not just what we are carrying, it's how we are talking to ourselves while we carry it. So lately, I've been trying something different in those moments. Not perfectly, I'm still learning, just enough to create a bit of space. Sometimes it's as simple as pausing, taking one slow breath and asking, what's actually happening in me right now? We are not fixing it, just noticing it. And even that small pause can interrupt that overwhelmed loop sometimes. Other times, if it feels a bit deeper, I come back to the technique. I don't really think of it as a technique anymore, to be honest, more like a way of being with myself. So first, I recognize what's there. So let's say this is overwhelm. Then I allow it, which really just means I stop arguing with the feeling. I don't have to like it, but I don't want to push it away either. Then I get a bit more curious. So, investigating it. What might be underneath this? And often, it's not just this moment, it's everything that has been building up. And then the last bit, which is the nurture, which is the hardest to be honest, but asking, what do I need right now? And sometimes it's something very small, like a pause, maybe a bit of quiet, or just speaking to myself a bit more gently. Because overwhelm isn't just about what we are carrying, it's how we are holding it. And when we soften it, even slightly, things don't disappear, but they feel more manageable. And there's something else that helps here. Even small things, like maybe placing a hand out on our chest or gently holding our arm, can calm our body because we release oxytocin, which is a chemical which helps reduce stress and settle our nervous system. Even something like a 20-minute hug can do this. And if there's no one around, we can create that same effect ourselves. Because overwhelm is never failure, it's feedback from your body. So before we finish, I'll leave you with the thoughtful doctor prescription of the week. The next time things feel like a bit too much, let's pause. Let's take one slow breath in and ask, what would make this 10% lighter? Not perfect, just lighter. And maybe that's doing one thing instead of three. Maybe it's replying later. Maybe this is just where our capacity is today. And that's allowed to change because we are humans. So until next time, we are not failing, we are learning something we were never taught or we have never thought. Because this world moves fast, but understanding people and minds take time. Thank you and take care.